Look at what's happening in Washington right now. President Trump isn't just changing policies, he's detonating the entire corrupt system. Day 65 of his return to the White House, and the shockwaves are undeniable. He just signed an executive order declassifying all Crossfire Hurricane files. Think about that. The same FBI that spied on his campaign, manufactured evidence, and tried to overthrow his presidency, their dirty secrets are about to be exposed. CNN, yes, even CNN was forced to admit Americans believe we're on the right track through the roof. And of course, the Department of Education is facing abolishment. Federal land is being repurposed for American housing, and the deep state, well, they're in absolute panic mode. And as we step into 2025, one thing is clear: de-dollarization is accelerating. China and BRICS nations are terrified of President Trump, making them desperate to reduce their dependence on the U.S. dollar. Their secret weapon is gold. China buying it and deliberately underreporting purchases. Why? They recognize gold's global value and stability during economic chaos. It's tangible, reliable, and immune to manipulation. While nations scramble to secure their financial future with gold, so should you. Noble Gold Investments offers the protection you need in these uncertain times. Visit nextnewsgold.com and get 10 1-ounce silver American Eagle coins with a qualified discount. You can also call the number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Grab a pen and write it down. And when you call, tell them Gary Franchi sent you. Okay, thank you to Noble Gold Investments for their sponsorship. We couldn't do it without them. Now, do you guys see this from Jasmine Crockett? Yeah. She had this horrible take on Governor Abbott. Listen to this.
Move on, because thank you so much, Morgan, because we in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. Yes. Right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna move on.
Move on. That was classless trash right there. Well, she's responding. This is what she had to say. This is how she's trying to gaslight us. I wasn't thinking about the governor's condition. I was thinking about the planes, trains, and automobiles he used to transfer migrants in the communities led by black mayors, deliberately stoking tension and fear amongst the most vulnerable. Literally, the next line I said was, he was a hot mess, referencing his terrible policies. At no point did I mention or allude to his condition. So I'm even more appalled that the very people who unequivocally support Trump, a man known for racially insensitive nicknames and mocking those with disabilities, are now outraged. Okay, sure. Trump never mocked anybody with disabilities. That's fake news that she's continuing to spread. But yeah, you can try to gaslight us, but we know exactly what you meant, because Governor Abbott's in a wheelchair and you call him Governor Hot Wheels. Absolutely disgusting. Here we have more from Jasmine Crockett, Loomer Unleashed, posting this. Jasmine Crockett just physically assaulted Laura Loomer's correspondent, Charles Downs, for asking about her participation. Listen.
Congresswoman Crockett. Hello, Congresswoman.
Horse manure. Well, that sounds like fun.
Wait, Congresswoman Crockett.
But it sounds...
Congresswoman Crockett, you were recently on a Tesla takedown call calling for violence on the 29th. Would you like to clarify your comments?
As you can see.
Congresswoman, will you condone violence at the Tesla?
Wow. Yeah, she was caught on a call calling for violence. That's what the left does. We have more from the U.S. EPA, headed up by Zeldin, Secretary Zeldin. POTUS policies are helping to bring back American auto jobs and domestic manufacturing and revitalize the auto industry under he used to be Representative EPA Lee Zeldin. EPA will work with leaders to streamline and develop smart regulations to allow for American workers to lead the great comeback of the United States, protecting and bringing back American auto jobs. Hyundai, Honda, Stellantis, Nissan, Volkswagen, Rolls-Royce, all shifting production back into the United States because of tariffs. And we have this: President Trump signing an executive order on election integrity that includes the following provisions. Let's check this out. Requires documentary government-issued proof of U.S. citizenship on voter registration forms, conditions federal election-related funds on states complying with the integrity measures set forth by federal law, directs the updating of the voluntary voting system guidelines 2.0 and security standards for voting equipment, which includes requiring a voter verifiable paper ballot record and not using ballots in which the counted vote is contained within the barcode or QR code. Directs the Attorney General to enter into information sharing agreements with state elected officials to identify cases of election fraud or other election law violations. Takes appropriate action against states that count ballots received after Election Day in federal election. Revokes Biden Executive Order 14019, which turned federal agencies into Democrat voter turnout centers. Here's the moment.
On the federal voting. Lastly, sir, we have an executive order for your attention on the very important subject of election integrity. We believe that this executive order is the farthest reaching executive action taken in the history of the Republic to secure our elections. Among numerous other aspects of this executive order, this is going to cut down on illegal immigrants on the voter rolls, ensure that the Department of Homeland Security and the data that they have available is being fully weaponized to ensure that illegal immigrants aren't voting. This will include a citizenship question on the federal voting form for the first time. This executive order instructs the EAC to cut federal funding to states that don't take reasonable steps to secure their election. This calls on the Department of Justice to vigorously prosecute election crimes, particularly in states that we don't believe are in compliance with federal law around election integrity. I could go on and on for a while, sir, but the compliance with National Election Day rules, cracking down and investigating and prosecuting foreign interference in our elections, revoking President Biden's Executive Order 14019, which essentially weaponized government to corrupt and pollute our election process. There's a lot in here, but we believe that these are very important steps that we need to be taking as an administration at your direction to ensure that our elections are as secure as they possibly can be.
Okay, you all understand that? Yes. Election fraud, you've heard the term. We'll end it, hopefully. At least this will go a long way toward ending it. There are other steps that we will be taking in the coming weeks, and we think we'll be able to end up getting fair elections. Perhaps some people think I shouldn't be complaining because we won in a landslide, but we got to straighten out our election. This country is so sick because of the election, the fake elections and the bad elections, and we're going to straighten it out one way or the other. And it's an honor to sign this one. To sign all of them, but to sign this one is a great honor.
Gotta love the sound of that Sharpie hitting that paper. That's the sound of America raging back, my friends. Oh, yes, it is coming back. We've got more. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz had this to say about journalists in the city who've made big names for themselves making up lies.
President, whether... Yes, Mr. President, you asked about lessons. I think there's a lot of journalists in this city who have made big names for themselves making up lies about this president, whether it's the Russia hoax or making up lies about Gold Star families. And this one in particular, I've never met, don't know, never communicated with, and we are looking into and reviewing how the heck he got into this room. But I'll tell you what, the world owes President Trump a favor. Under Biden, global shipping was shut down. Pinprick attacks, months between them, our destroyers being fired upon dozens of times. President Trump took decisive action with his national security team, took out the head missileer, knocked out missiles, knocked out headquarters, knocked out communication sites. And for once, as we hear, as you will all hear from every one of our allies, thank God for American leadership again. Thank God for American strength. You're welcome, world. And look, we had a national security team that was coordinating these efforts. As Director Radcliffe testified today, his first day on the job, he was introduced to this app on his government systems at the CIA and at the State Department and otherwise. So look, this journalist, Mr. President, wants the world talking about more hoaxes and this kind of nonsense rather than the freedom that you're enabling. And a key part of our sovereignty is open sea lanes and knocking the crap out of terrorists, which is exactly what your team and Pete Hegseth, a good friend and fellow veteran, is leading the charge on, and it's an honor. Yes, sir.
Let's go. Let's keep knocking out the fake news. That's what we do here at the Next News Network. Here we have more. President Trump talking about a newscast. Let's listen to this.
Been great on the military, but I watched a certain newscast over the weekend, and a congressman, Democrat congressman, said, well, Trump's done a lot. I agree. He's been great on the border. He's been great on the military. But, he hasn't brought prices down. That's false. Gasoline's way down. Eggs are way down. Groceries are down very substantially, but down. Almost everything's down. Now, I'd like to see interest rates come down a little bit. And you're going to see billions of dollars, even trillions of dollars coming into our country very soon in the form of tariffs, because we were abused by presidents that, frankly, in all fairness, it wasn't their expertise, but they had no idea what they were doing. I watched it.
Imagine all those. He said trillions with a T. Trillions of dollars flooding into this country from the soon-to-be created External Revenue Service. I'm here for it, baby. What's this? Charlie Kirk. You are the reason we should abolish the Department of Education. Oh, this should be good.
Misinformation. You are why we should eliminate the Department of Education. Hold on.
Assertions
got it. So,
reality.
So, last question. Hold on. So, you would say I'm a misinformation machine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Fine. You're a teacher. Yes. What is a woman?
What is a woman? Oh, buddy. All right. So, we define gender as a set of preferences that you have. Gender is a set of preferences we have. Woman is a social construct that we've agreed upon. Typically, we imagine womanhood as makeup or whatever. There is a difference between the word woman and being a biological female. Woman is a social construct that we use. Listen for a second. I'm telling you what it means. Woman is a social construct. We agree on these set of preferences. If I tell you that I'm a man, it's because I want you to know that I like these set of preferences. If I tell you I'm a woman, it's because I want you to know that I agree with these set of preferences.
Can men give birth?
Can men or can males? Because males can't. Listen for a second. If you listen to your bio professors, you would understand there's a difference between biology and what we think
So
about.
I want to thank you for proving a great point.
What?
You are why we should eliminate the Department of Education. Thank you very much. You are why we should eliminate.
You got smoked there. Let's keep going. We got more goodies for you. Rapid Response 47. More investment, more jobs, more money in American pockets. Whitehouse.gov. U.S. investment pledges UAE $1.4 trillion in new investments from UAE. Saudi Arabia, $600 billion. Hyundai, $20 billion. Apple, $500 billion. NVIDIA, over $100 billion. SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, $100 billion. Another $100 billion from Taiwan Semiconductors. Johnson & Johnson's $55 billion. CMA, CGM Group, $20 billion. EU Lilly, $27 billion. Merck, $1 billion. GE Aerospace, $1 billion. Holy cow, man. Dude, talk about money flooding back into this country. Where was Joe Biden? Oh, yeah, he was getting his applesauce. And we have more. Secretary Burgum on better utilizing federal land. What?
Acres of subsurface. In many parts of the law, there's huge restrictions on the sale of public lands. But here we are. We're sitting on top of 500 million acres of surface, 700 million acres of subsurface, and 2.5 billion of offshore acres just inside interior. You throw in the U.S. Forest Service, you got a couple 100 million more acres of surface land. And when we in these public land states in the West, places like Nevada, over 80% of the land in Nevada is owned by the federal government. Utah, it's over 60%. These are fast-growing urban areas, and we might have Bureau of Land Management land that abuts right up against communities that are restricted for growth. So in our administration already, we've completed a land swap with Utah, 200,000 acres of federal for about 188 of state. This is a equal value going back and forth, but it closed out a checkerboard that each of us had, the state and the federal. The state Utah is in a better position to utilize that, whether it's for resource development or whether it's for adding to the ability to lower the cost of housing in these fast-growing areas. And in southern Utah, where they're really constrained, there's actually a specific law that goes back to when Harry Reid was in Senate Majority Leader called the Southern Nevada Lands Act, which specifically instructs the U.S. government to work with selling land around Clark County to help expand that. But we own hundreds of thousands of acres that are within 1 to 3 miles of U.S. urban areas that would be better off used for urban development and for lowering housing prices than they would be for resource development.
Wow. Imagine that, repurposing all that land. Why does the government own so much damn land in the first place? Here we have the press secretary discussing tariffs.
Around the world, tariffs work, and President Trump is proving that every single day when new companies from around the world are pledging to invest billions of dollars in the United States of America and our workforce. Today, we had Hyundai announcing $20 billion in American investment, $5 billion in the great state of Louisiana to build a steel plant. Why? Because President Trump has implemented a 25% tariff on steel, and he has told companies around the world that America is open for business, and you won't face any tariffs if you bring your production to the United States. You will have low taxes, low energy costs, and you will have the best workforce in the world. You will hire American workers. And so every single one of these investments, the American people need to understand this is more money coming into your community. This is your hometown where you grew up that has been shuttered because globalists have sold you out, reviving again. Factories where your neighbors are having good paying jobs, where more money is going back into your pockets. And every time you go to the store to purchase a product, you're no longer seeing made in China on the back. You are seeing made in America on the back. That's President Trump's vision with these tariffs. And every day he is proving that they work, and he is making America wealthy again.
Made in America, as it should be. Let's go. Here is the president signing an executive order to push the U.S. Treasury to modernize its payment system in order to reduce waste, fraud, and abuse. Let's listen.
Electronic transfer payment. We have an executive order for your attention relating actually to government payments. Historically, checks issued by the Treasury are, I believe, 14 times more likely to become the subject of fraud than electronic transfer payments. This is an executive order that's going to push the Treasury Department to modernize its payment system to ensure that where possible they're using electronic methods of payment as opposed to paper checks in order to reduce waste, fraud, and abuse in the government, which is obviously an endeavor that we've been pursuing in numerous aspects of government under your leadership.
It's basically modernization of equipment and methods, and it's something that really I think he's going to be a great Secretary of the Treasury wanted, Scott, and so we're doing this, and we have other modernization programs going on. We could let somebody else, whoever's next, whoever that may be, do it, but it's something that should have been done 25, 30 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
We have an executive order for your attention.
There's the Sharpie of power. With every stroke of the pen, America gets greater and greater. Okay, this is the moment that you have been waiting for. On Crossfire Hurricane.
Files relating. Next, sir, we have a presidential memorandum for your attention. This memorandum requires the immediate declassification of all FBI files relating to the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. This was obviously one of the instances of the weaponization of law enforcement powers of prosecution against you and others. We believe that it's long past time for the American people to have a full and complete understanding of what exactly is in those files.
which gives the media the right to go in and check it. You probably won't bother because you're not going to like what you see. But this was total weaponization. It's a disgrace. Should never happen in this country. But now you'll be able to see for yourselves, all declassified. Is that correct? Would you say all declassified?
Yes, sir.
Everything?
The FBI file with there's a classified annex, but other than that, this we'll put everything in the public eye.
Is anybody going to look? What about you? You going to look? And frankly, the FBI should be ashamed of themselves, and so should the Department of Justice, and so should Biden. Okay.
Next, sir.
And I should add, so should the media, because they ran with that hoax. We've got more. Check this out. I just got the email from the White House about this. Donald Trump pardoning Devin Archer, Hunter Biden's former business partner turned whistleblower who was unjustly prosecuted by the Biden administration.
Investigation. But first, we have a pardon for Devin Archer. Devin Archer was a former business partner of the Biden family. He's was prosecuted relating to a fraud investigation, but notably the tone and tenor of that prosecution changed dramatically after he began to cooperate with congressional investigators and serve as a witness against Hunter Biden and the Biden family. We believe that was an injustice, and therefore we're asking you to pardon him.
And many people have asked me to do this. I think he was treated very unfairly. And I looked at the records, studied the records, and he was a victim of a crime, as far as I'm concerned. So we're going to undo that. All right. That's Devin Archer. Congratulations, Devin.
First, we have a pardon for...
You know, every day is like Christmas with this administration, and you never really know what kind of package is going to be underneath the Christmas tree every morning. But it's just beautiful to witness. Here we have more on the education system's $1 trillion disaster. Holy cow. Let's check out what Jesse Waters is talking about.
Don't you feel that the Department of Education has been failing Americans?
No, I don't think so.
Who was the first president of the United States?
Was it Bush?
What?
George Washington.
Who was the second president?
I don't know.
Theodore Roosevelt.
No, babe. That was like 150 years later.
All I know is George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and Mr. Donald J. Trump.
And my pronouns are kiss my ass.
Name the 3 branches of government.
Oh my gosh. Judicial.
Hold on.
The president. We have Congress. And Kylie, what's the third?
Legislative, executive. I don't know the third one.
Do you want to put our heads together?
Yeah.
I got it. What do you got?
I don't got anything.
That didn't work.
Yeah, that wasn't some creepy move on that girl, was it? God.
How many Supreme Court justices do we have?
2.
11. 21.
50. 46.
8? No. 9?
11. No. Name some of the justices.
Genuinely, I don't know.
Judge
Mintz.
Kamala Harris?
Amy
Schumer.
Justice Brett
Favre.
Bear. Brett Bear.
Not sure how to take that.
Who is the Speaker of the House?
The Speaker of the House?
I don't know. Brain ain't thinking. I'm on the beach.
Anyone home?
No.
I think you're thinking of someone and you don't want to tell us.
I love her. She's great. She's very young. She's like the youngest Speaker of the House, right?
I think you're talking about Caroline Leavitt.
Yes.
His last name is Johnson.
Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson.
That was somebody telling you something that wasn't true.
Yeah, that's the failure of our education system right there. You saw it on the beach, spring breakers, clueless about our country. God save this nation. But that's what we're here for, to educate everybody. And here's CNN. They had to admit this today.
Compare it to some historical. Let's take a look at the percentage of the country who say that we're on the right track. It's actually a very high percentage when you compare it to some historical numbers. What are we talking about? According to Marist, 45% say that we're on the right track. That's the second highest that Marist has measured since 2009. How about NBC News? 44%. That's the highest since 2004. Wow. The bottom line is the percentage of Americans who say we're on the right track is through the roof. And if you were to compare it to when presidents have historically been reelected, of course, Trump is not constitutionally eligible to run for re-election, but I think it sort of puts it in perspective. 42% of the country says the country is on the right track when the incumbent party is re-elected. And also keep in mind, back when Kamala Harris lost and the Democrats were turned out of power, only about 27 to 28% of the country said the country is on the right track. The bottom line is right now, a much higher percentage of the country says we're on the right track. Let's take a look at the percentage of the country.
Wow. Yeah, CNN forced to admit that fact. I'm sure all their viewers, all three of them, are freaking out right now. Let's keep going. President Trump saying, as far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, you're not happy here, you can leave.
And that if you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. And that's what I say all the time. That's what I said in a tweet, which I guess some people think is controversial. A lot of people love it, by the way. A lot of people love it. But if you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay, too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Nice. Love it. Here are the Osbournes talking about Trump.
But it pains me to actually say this, but every interaction I've ever had with Donald Trump, he's been nothing but a gentleman and nice to me.
When I did the Apprentice with him, he was very supportive of you both because you were both working on your sobriety, and he kept saying, well done, about the pair of you.
So you've interviewed him?
Sorry, darling?
You have interviewed him?
Mum did The Apprentice.
For a month.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. And I must say that Melania was lovely.
When I met him at the Elton John thing, he looked at me and he went, Ozzy, I was amazed that he knew my name, who I was.
Dad, you always say this, but you forget that you're literally the world's most famous rock star.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I think you'll find that you'd be hard pressed to find a corner of the earth that doesn't know who you are. I mean, you could go anywhere. I mean, even the fun.
Okay, great. The Osbournes reflecting on, but she said, it pains me to say this. Here's Piers Morgan, uncensored. You, just like Rosie O'Donnell, have Trump derangement syndrome. Vinny Jersey Shore Oshana brings some visual props to Piers Morgan's latest debate. What's going on?
For what they've done to you. You, just like Rosie O'Donnell, have Trump derangement syndrome. And I want to show you something, Piers.
No,
I think, Brian,
you're an idiot.
Excuse me. Dude, you wouldn't say that shit in my face, so shut up. Number one. Number two, I think
Jersey
people like
Shore.
you and Rosie O'Donnell should sue mainstream media for what they've done to you. And Piers, I brought some photos of pre-Trump and post-Trump. Look at this. This is Rosie O'Donnell before Trump, right? Nice, good. Look what happens, Piers, with Trump derangement syndrome, all right? Rachel Maddow. Look at how hot Rachel Maddow was. And then look, Trump derangement syndrome. She looks like Stephen Colbert. And then look, Kathy Griffin, someone that I might have hooked up with if I was drunk. They turned her into Carrot Top, okay? That's what it does to you people, okay? You guys have lost your freaking mind. Oh, excuse me, I'm not finished. And Piers, In that interview, she's like, I can't believe sexual assault, because when Conor McGregor came there, she supported Bill Clinton. How many sexual assault, rape allegations? Biden did the same thing. Biden sniffing kids live on camera all the time. His freaking daughter writes in her diary that her father showered with her at inappropriate ages. She left to freaking Ireland. Do you know what's happening in Ireland, Rosie? Freedom of speech, migration, all the freaking rise in crime. It's unbelievable. And here's my thing, Piers. There's people waiting in line and fighting and dying to come to this country. She wants to leave. To hell with her. Let her give up her spot for somebody else. I have family members that are waiting to come here, Piers. Let them come in, and to hell with her.
Yeah, I just want to answer to what Jersey Shore just said real quickly here.
Oh,
First of all, the guy who you support is a liable.
You should be a comedian.
Excuse me, I'm talking now, and I didn't bring pictures with me. I didn't bring pictures with me, to show to everybody.
Right.
So if I can just respond to what you just said, you didn't want me to interrupt you. You didn't
see me in public.
Can I respond now without being interrupted?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I respond now? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So first of all, you want to talk about Biden's. You want to talk about guys and Biden sniffing kids and sniffing children, and you want to make those type of correlations. The guy who you support is a liable sexual abuser who has 25 women that have accused him of rape or sexual assault. So spare me with your right-wing talking points and your stupid pictures that you brought to the Piers Morgan show. Nobody cares, Jersey Shore.
Yeah, they do.
All right.
Jersey Shore's not working. Jersey Shore doesn't work. You're a hack. You suck. Look at your freaking hat.
Can we all just
You're wearing a hat.
agree
What did your hair look like under there?
Oh, man. Dude, that was brutal. That was brutal. We're not done yet, though. We have this. This is Medal of Honor Day at the White House. President Trump and Vice President Vance greeting Medal of Honor recipients, recognizing their bravery.
But I appreciate you being here. We'll do it again. I like to do it. I feel good. I feel brave among you people. You have more bravery than anybody. Look how young some of these guys are.
You can go down there.
But I appreciate you being here.
That's beautiful. We got more. Let's keep going. We have, is this another extended version of that clip?
Being here. But I appreciate you being here. We'll do it again. I like to do it. I feel good. I feel brave among you people.
Certainly feel brave. I think we all feel brave with President Trump now at the helm of this country again. Every single time that Sharpie hits the paper, baby. But the evidence is overwhelming. Trump's America First agenda isn't just working, it's transforming the nation at lightning speed. Secretary Burgum's plan to convert federal land into affordable housing is revolutionary. Meanwhile, Trump modernized Treasury systems to eliminate waste and fraud. Hyundai pledging $20 billion in American manufacturing. Medal of Honor recipients honored with the dignity they deserve. This is what real leadership looks like, and it's driving the left completely insane. So here is the question I have for you. If Trump accomplished all this in just 65 days, what's stopping us from becoming the most prosperous nation in history? Drop a comment below. And make sure you get our exclusive Next News gear. It's linked down below. It's shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.